Hello, today we will speak about pharyngeal arches, pouch, and cleft. In this lecture, introduced to you by Dr. Ali Mansour, MRCS instructors. Please don't forget to do subscribe, like, share, and comment. And here on the website, this should help you if you're interested in basic lecture, specifically for surgicals candidate or surgeons. This is very helpful. The pharyngeal arch is developed during the first week of embryonic growth from a series of mesodermal outpouchings of the developing pharynx. They develop and fuse in ventral midlines. Pharyngeal pouch form on the endodermal side between the arches. There are 6 pharyngeal arches. The 5th one does not contribute any useful structure and often fused with 6 arches. In this picture, I would like to show you here. This is the yolk sac and amnion before folding, and after folding the yolk sac, it's become the midgut. And here there is clear appearance of foregut from cranial part and hindgut from caudal part of amnion. The cranial part gives part of the mouth, salivary glands, pharyngeal apparatus, respiratory system. This is the cranial part here. And the caudal part gives the distal to the laryngeal groove, give esophagus, stomachs, part of the duodenums, liver, biliary systems, and pancreas. All this come from caudal part. The pharyngeal apparatus consists of pharyngeal arches, pharyngeal pouch, cleft, and pharyngeal membrane. And here this is, as a general rules, we have the pharyngeal apparatus come from ectoderm, this is the outside layer, and mesoderm, this is in between, and the endoderm, this is inside. And this picture, as you see here, we have this is pharyngeal arch, and this is pouch, and this is the cleft. So arch, pouch, and cleft. As a general rule, in each pouch we have artery, nerve, and muscle or cartilage. This is skeletal element, muscular element, vascular element, nervous element. This is the derivative of pharyngeal arch. Each pharyngeal arch gives this structure. Derivative of pharyngeal arch is skeletal elements. We have arch and skeletal elements from the neural crest. When we come to the first pharyngeal arch, this is supplied by mandibular nerve, is known as mandibular arch. The mandibular arch gives skeletal elements like malleus, ancus, spine of sphenoid, sphenomandibular ligament, lingula, mickle cartilage of the mandible, and also the second one gives stapes, styloid process, stylohyoid ligaments, laser cone and upper cone of hyoid bone, of body of hyoid bone. And the third pharyngeal arch gives greater cone and lower part of the hyoid bone, and the first one gives thyroid cartilage, and the sixth one gives other cartilage of the larynx, cricoid, retinoid, and carniculate, and cuneiform. And in this picture, I'm going to show you that the ancus and malleus plus mickle cartilage, all this come from the first pharyngeal arch. But the stapes, styloid process, and stylohyoid ligament, all this come from, this is stapes, as you see, stapes, styloid process, and stylohyoid ligament, all this come from the second pharyngeal arch. This is second, number 2 here. And the third pharyngeal arch gives greater cone of the hyoid bone. This is the greater cone of the hyoid bone, and also give lower part of the hyoid bone. The lower part of the hyoid bone, it's come from the third pharyngeal arch. But the laser cone and the upper part of the hyoid bones come from the second pharyngeal arch. This is the laser cone here, and the upper part of the body of the hyoid bones come from second pharyngeal arch. Remember that the second one gives steps and styloid process and stylohyoid ligament. So it starts by S and gives 3S. The sixth one give cartilage of the larynx, cricoid and arytenoid and caniculate and cuneiform. This is the derivative of pharyngeal arch. This is muscle again, as you see here. First, pharyngeal arch give all this muscle of mastication, tensor palatine, tensor tympani, and mylohyoids, and also anterior belly of the digastric. The important note that the anterior belly of the digastric muscle, this muscle is supplied by mandibular nerve. The second one, I would like you to remember the posterior belly of the digastric is supplied by very important nerve known as facial nerve. So posterior belly of digastric muscle is stylohyoids and stapedius and muscle of the face like platysma. All this muscle is supplied by facial nerve. Okay, so muscle of facial expression, platysma, posterior belly of the digastric, stylohyoid and stapedius. The third one is stylopharyngeus muscle, and the third one is supplied by vagus nerve, so it's supplied is stylopharyngeal muscle. And the first one, this is supplied by external laryngeal nerve, which is supplied cricothyroid muscle. And this muscle is very important in abduction of the vocal, tends the vocal cord tone. So it tends the vocal cord tone. It's very important for singer. The sixth one, other intrinsic muscle of the larynx, plus constrictor muscle of the pharynx, plus muscle of the palate, except tensor palatine, because tensor palatine is supplied by mandibular nerve. This is derivative of the pharynx. That's vascular element. The first one give maxillary artery, the second one give artery to stapedius, and the third one give internal and common carotid artery, and the first one give aortic arch and left side and subclavian artery on the right side. The sixth one give pulmonary artery and ductus arteriosus on left side. Pulmonary artery on either side, right and left. Pulmonary right pulmonary artery and left pulmonary artery come from this one. That's sixth pharyngeal arch. And this is the nerve, as I mentioned. The first one give mandibular, the second give facial, the third give glossopharyngeal, and the first one give superior laryngeal, and the sixth one give recurrent laryngeal. The fourth and the fifth give receive or give the nerve supply from the vagus nerve, superior laryngeal and recurrent laryngeal. But the third one, glossopharyngeal, and this is important is supply of the stylopharyngeus muscle. And this picture here to show you the nerve supply of each one. This is a trigeminal nerve. Here, this is ophthalmic branch of the trigeminal, and this is my axillary branch, and this is mandibular branch of the trigeminal. And here this is a facial nerve, and this is a glossopharyngeal, and the last one, this is a vagus nerve. And this is a review for all what we discussed previously. This is the first one. This is the muscle. This is the skeletal elements, and this is the muscle elements. This is the artery, and this is the nerve. The second one, known as hyoidal arch. This is the skeletal elements that include bone and cartilage and ligament. And here this is the muscle, and this is the artery, and this is the nerve. Third one, this is the skeletal elements, bone, and this is the muscle, stylopharyngeus, and the artery, internal and common carotid artery, and the nerve glossopharyngeal. The first one gives thyroid cartilage, cricothyroids, and aortic arch, superior laryngeal. The sixth one, and this is the pharyngeal pouch. It's again the same picture. And here this is a pharyngeal pouch. There are 5 pair of pharyngeal pouch. Is not marked and considered as a part of the first. Their endodermal lining give rise to the first one of this pouch, give middle ear and pharyngeal-tympanic tube or Eustachian tube. And this is a pharyngeal pouch, and this is pharyngeal cleft. And here this is the middle ear. This is the auditory tube, and this is the primitive tympanic cavity. This is come from first pharyngeal arch. The second give the first pharyngeal pouch. The second give palatine tonsilli. The palatine tonsilli here. This is a tonsil known as palatine tonsilli, come from the second pharyngeal pouch. The first gives superior parathyroid plus a small part of the thyroid. This is the first pharyngeal pouch. The first pharyngeal pouch, this one, gives superior parathyroid gland. This is a superior parathyroid. And the inferior parathyroid gland come from the first, from the serrated pharyngeal pouch. This is a serrated pharyngeal give superior inferior parathyroid gland plus thymus gland. This is thymus gland and the inferior parathyroid gland. This come from serrated pharyngeal pouch, and the first one give superior parathyroid gland. This is superior parathyroid gland, superior one. It's come from the first pharyngeal pouch, superior one. And this is a pharyngeal pouch. The first one give middle ear plus pharyngotympanic tube. The second one give palatine tonsilli. The first one gives superior parathyroid plus a small part of the thyroid. And the third one give inferior parathyroid plus thymus gland. And here development of the thymus and parathyroid gland. The thymus is developed from the third pouch and migrate downward into the thorax, dragging with it the inferior parathyroid. The superior parathyroid are developed from the endoderm of the first pouch. The inferior parathyroid gland developed from the third pouch and descend to the lower level than the superior parathyroid, dragged by migrating thymus gland. Pharyngeal cleft, the first pharyngeal cleft gives external auditory meatus, the second, third, and first one. This gives cervical sinus, and finally, this sinus is obliterated. And here is the first pharyngeal pouch. This is the first pharyngeal cleft, and this is the sinus in between. This is the tympanic membrane here, and this is auditory tube from first pharyngeal pouch, and external auditory meatus. This is the tympanic cavity. Pharyngeal membrane, only the first membrane persists, separating between the first pouch, which gives tympanic cavity, plus auditory tube, and the first cleft, which gives external auditory meatus. The first membrane gives the tympanic membrane. The first membrane gives the tympanic membrane. This is the pharyngeal cleft. The first cleft, external auditory meatus. This is the and the second, third, and first one, cervical sinus, and finally this is obliterated. And this is anomalous. That's very important. Branchial cyst, non-obliteration of part of cervical sinus, and here this is known as pharyngeal fistula, persist of cervical sinus, which might open externally on the anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid, or internally close the tonsil. The important point that what we call it pharyngeal cleft. The pharyngeal cleft came between the second and the third arch. The second and the third arch. This is or the second and third cleft. This is known as pharyngeal cleft. And this is schedule here. This is summarized for us all important information. And here this is the first one and all the important point, revise it. And this is also the second pharyngeal arch. This is third one, and this is the first one. And we have a new fifth one. We will come to the sixth one. And we will come to the question: what is the correct embryological origins of the stapes? First, second, third, fourth, and fifth. The answer will be second pharyngeal arch. Embryological origin of stapes equals second pharyngeal arch. As I said previously, stapes come from second, start by S. A dorsal end of the cartilage of the first and second pharyngeal arch articulated superior to the tubotympanic recess. The cartilage form the malus, ancus, and stapes. A least malus is formed from the first arch is Thymus from the second arch. Uncus is most likely from the first arch. So the uncus and malus from the first arch and Thymus from the second one. A 34 years old lady suffers from hyperparathyroidism. The right inferior parathyroid identified and having an adenoma is scheduled for resection from which of the following embryonic structure is it derived? The third pharyngeal pouch. Parathyroid gland anatomy. 4 parathyroid glands located posterior to the thyroid gland. They lie within the pretracheal fascia. The inferior parathyroid is derivative of the third pharyngeal pouch. The superior one is come from the first pharyngeal pouch. Thank you. This is the end of the session.